This is David Haken with KC Cafe Radio at the Kerrville Folk Festival. I'm here with Scott Sean White, who is one of the finalists in the New Folk Songwriting Competition.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Tell us a little bit about your background in music.
Well, I grew up in Kerrville, and we listened to the radio station here growing up, and a lot of Kenny Rogers and a lot of Lionel Richie. Those are people my mom was a big fan of, so we wore those out. I'm sure those things were swirling around in my spirit. They've shown up in my music, I'm sure, at some point. But later I ended up playing in R&B and funk bands, and I wrote hip-hop on R&B and produced it and arranged it for probably 20 years before I started going to Nashville to try to learn how to write a country lyric. And so, yeah.
Well, tell us the spark for the first song you're going to play for us.
This is one of those songs that started with the first line of the song just popped in my head. I was sitting on my back porch in Poetry, Texas, where I live, and this line popped in my head, said they got married by Elvis in a drive-through chapel in Vegas. And I had no idea where that came from. I don't drink, I don't do drugs.
It's just handed to you.
Yeah, it just fell out of the sky. And I remember, as I often do with songs like that, I just sat there and I was like, oh, I wonder what that's about. It sounds interesting. And unbeknownst to me, at the time, the more I play this song out, the more I realize I changed all the details for the most part, but this song's really about me and my wife. We didn't get married by Elvis in a drive-through chapel in Vegas, but we did get pregnant while we were dating. And we're still here 29 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's hear that song.
And we know that's a miracle. Also, the other thing I'll say about this is there's a line in here about that he sold Subarus and Hondas. I sold my wife a car is how I met her. I always like to say I sold her a car and a family for $314 a month. She just didn't read the fine print. But I say that because when I wrote that line, he sold Subarus and Hondas, I wasn't thinking about that. It was later when we finished the song, I was like, oh, I sold my wife a car. And that just happens in songwriting, which is a really cool thing. Like I said earlier, things swirl around your spirit. Even if you don't consciously put them in a song, they end up in there. So, anyway.
Cool.
This is that. It's called Crazy Till It Works. They got married by Elvis in a drive-through chapel in Vegas. They knew it was crazy, but thought, hell, what if we make it? How cool would it be to tell the children and the grandchildren it was 1,000,000 to 1 shot and we were the 1 in 1,000,000? She sold waffles and eggs, hot coffee and smiles at the diner. He sold Subarus and Hondas and one-liners. He was a loser, but thank God she was a finder. He was a misser all day, she was a love him all nighter. Dreams will still be dreams after you wake up, and fights are only fights until you make up. Brave is only brave if there's a chance it's gonna hurt, and crazy's only crazy till it works. He gave $2,500 to a roughneck in Laredo for a flat-nosed fixer-upper Winnebago. They sold everything except his Martin and her daddy's mandolin. He said, trust me, baby, whatever comes, we can handle it. And dreams will still be dreams after you wake up, and fights are only fights until you make up. Brave is only brave if there's a chance it's gonna hurt, and crazy's only crazy till it works. Yeah, crazy's only crazy till 50 years go by and you look back and realize that all along this wild, wild ride all the wrong turns turned out right. And dreams will still be dreams after you wake up. And fights are only fights until you make up. Brave is only brave if there's a chance it's gonna hurt. And crazy's only crazy till it works. Yeah, crazy's only crazy till it works. They got married by Elvis in a drive-through chapel in Vegas. They knew it was crazy.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
It's like a whole bucket full of great lines in that song.
Thank you, sir.
Tell us about your new project, album project.
That song will be on there, that's for sure. The CDs that I sell at gigs right now are mostly demos of songs, and because I'm not trying to do the Nashville artist thing or the mainstream artist thing. I am trying to do the performing songwriter thing in Texas,
Right.
but it's a whole different world. I'm trying to get artists to cut my songs. So we do demos. I do demos. I'm a producer and arranger from all those years in hip hop and R&B,
Right.
being an engineer at studios. But I have since I've been, doing this full time now, decided I need to put out a CD with my own voice on everything. I sing some of that stuff, so when people buy those CDs, there's some of the songs I'm singing, but I don't exactly have like a mainstream country voice, so I'm trying to get people to record those. So I'm going to record an album of songs that just mean something to me, and I'm not going to worry about how many up-tempo songs are on the record, and
Right.
I'm not going to worry about, it's not going to be any big production. I don't think there will be any full band things on there. It'll be a bass instrument like the acoustic guitar and one or two color instruments and a harmony or something, and just really songs that are lyric focused and produce it in such a way that the lyric is the star. Cause
Yeah, that's, and that's the way to get, loyal fans, maybe not, worldwide recognition, but
Yeah.
a lot of people are looking for that now and really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. And the other thing, career-wise in Nashville, there's been so many examples of folks, if I can tune while I talk,
Yeah.
There's been so many examples of folks up there, and I have friends who just put out their own record of great songs, and then Keith Urban, somehow it ended up on his bus, and he's like, hey, I want to write with that guy, or I want to write with that girl. You never know whose phone it's going to be playing on what bus, and you walk into the situation and you write something, hopefully with them that they love, that has a little bit of your thing and what you do in it, and at the same time can pay your bills for a while.
Exactly.
That would be nice. I'm just trying to make a living. I don't need to be rich.
Yeah.
If I can pay my bills and write songs, I'm good.
That's right.
So-
It helps you spend more time on your music.
Right.
And your songs.
And there's several examples, big examples of that in Nashville. And so that's what I try to do, especially when I'm writing by myself or with what we all call our tribe or our crew,
Right.
of people that I really trust, that you walk in a room with and you can throw your best ideas out and just write them to the wall. I want to put an album out of those songs that mean something to me, that move me, that make me feel something, and just see what happens out in the world.
Great. Would you play another song for us?
I will. This is a song. I told you that last song was born on my back porch in Poetry. This song was born on the highway between Poetry and Nashville. I was driving up, and I had this hook pop in my head, which I won't tell you right now, so I won't give it away. But I had a writing session that week with one of my main co-writers, and we had just finished a song. I said, hey, by the way, I got this title I should probably write with you. And I said it to him, and he said, excuse me? And we had just finished the work tape for the song and we were about to go to lunch. And he goes, what? And I told him again. He goes, he started going. And 15 minutes later, which this hadn't happened in years, I haven't had a song pop out in under 10 hours in the last 10 years that I've actually played out in public. And then I was like, man, I'm proud of this song. But that one did that day. Like, we wrote it in a hurry. And he's like, you didn't hear this on a podcast? Or you didn't hear this in a sermon or something? I was like, no, I don't know what it was. So anyway, it's called Accident. Might as well buy a ticket, pick your numbers, you just might hit it. That's the odds of what you stumbled into. But here you are, can't believe it, didn't want it, now you need it. You hit the jackpot, lucky you. You fall in love on accident, before you know what hit you. You had your heart, then there it went. About the time she kissed you, still gets you. It's gonna take a lot of work, but man, it's worth it. You fall in love on accident, you stay in love on purpose. Well, here it comes, your first fight, first time to admit she's right. Can you be a man when you feel like a fool? And I'm sorry, won't kill you, even if you can't see what the big deal is. Trust me, the making up is cool. You fall in love on accident, before you know what hit you. You had your heart, then there. About the time she kissed you, still gets you. It's gonna take a lot of work, but man, it's worth it. You fall in love on accident, you stay in love on purpose. When you say it, you mean it, and you do what you say you will. When you love her, you treat her like you don't want to lose her. It's more than just something you feel. You fall in love on accident, before you know what hit you. You had your heart, then there it went. About the time she kissed you, still gets you. It's gonna take a lot of work, but man, it's worth it. You fall in love on accident, you stay in love on purpose. You stay in love on purpose. You fall in love on accident, stay in love on purpose.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming in today and sharing your music with us.
I appreciate you.